What is up, guys? So Young Justice Outsiders had a pretty great run from episodes 1 to 13, but the next 13 episodes of the 26 episode long season are not coming out until June, which is a stupidly long and outrageously long mid-season break. That's 5 months we have to wait between the two halves of the season, while each half of the season will only take place over the course of a month. So that is annoying, but in the meantime, I wanted to go over the 5 things that I want to see in that second half of Young Justice Outsiders. And this is based off things we've seen this season, based off things we've seen in previous seasons as well, things that have either not been paid off yet or things that I just want to see based off those 3 seasons. With all of that in mind, let's go over the top 5 things that I want to see in the second half of Young Justice Outsiders. Number 5 is the Teen Titans. So this season introduced us to characters like Cyborg and Terra, and we already have Beast Boy and Nightwing as well, which only leaves Raven and Starfire for the characters of the most famous version of the Teen Titans, because the Young Justice as a team is inspired, or at least a little bit, by the Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans were Aqualad, Robin, and Kid Flash, just like Young Justice was back in Season 1, right at the beginning. So I do think the Teen Titans showing up and forming in this season would definitely be something I would like to see. Maybe Starfire shows up, and then Raven shows up, and then Raven, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Nightwing, or maybe even Tim Drake. That would also be a possibility, as well as Terra, possibly if she hasn't been revealed to be a traitor even then. And those characters can form the actual Teen Titans as opposed to the team in this universe, or just maybe even call them the Titans, because Dick Grayson is not a teen anymore, which is why I think they could use Tim Drake instead. But the reason this is only at number 5, even though this is definitely something I really want to see, is because they could do this in Season 4 as well. And the rest of the list, only 2 of them in Season 4 as well, while the other 2 are definitely more constrained to this season. While number 5 they can do in Season 4, and I think they probably should do it in Season 4, but if they do it in Season 3 as well, or they do it in Season 3 first, and they do introduce Starfire and Raven in Season 3, and then they all come together, that's definitely something I want to see. Whether it is in Season 3 or 4, I don't really care, to be honest, which is why this one is at number 5. Number 4. So this season, like I said, introduced a whole lot of characters like the Court of Owls, Cisco Ramon, as well as Cyborg and Terra, and a lot of other characters, but it also brought back some characters that we always thought to be dead, specifically Jason Todd, aka Red Hood. Now obviously we all knew he was going to come back because he always comes back in the comics as a pretty awesome character in the Red Hood, but I did not expect him to come back so soon. If you don't know, Jason Todd, we've never seen him on the show like alive, but he was a member of the team in between Season 1 and Season 2, but he also was killed, probably by the Joker, in the first half of Season 3. We saw a red-hooded figure who was under the command of Ra's al Ghul. This is almost definitely Jason Todd, aka the future Red Hood. He even said the word Grayson, and Ra's al Ghul said he's remembering. Definitely Jason Todd, and that's something that, again, I didn't expect to see so soon into the show, and let alone the season. If you would have told me that they're not doing it until Season 4, I would have believed you. If you would told me that they're not going to do it until the second half of Season 3, I would have believed you. But the first half of Season 3, that is insane. But in the second half of Season 3, I think that they should definitely do something with that character. Over the course of these 13 episodes, they should have maybe one episode where Jason Todd remembers his past. I think they should have one episode that mainly focuses around Jason Todd remembering his past, and we see more of his past, how he died, which is probably being blown up by the Joker, and how he becomes the Red Hood, and then another episode where he is probably the main villain of that episode, where he fights Nightwing, but also I really hope Batman appears as well. They should adapt the Under the Red Hood storyline into this show. They should change it up a little bit to include Nightwing way more, but it should be a little bit closer to that than I think it will be. But Under the Red Hood is one of my favorite DC animated movies, and it's an incredible storyline as well. The Red Hood himself is one of my favorite DC characters and my second favorite member of the Bat family after Batman, so I am incredibly excited to see more of him in the second half of the season, and I think they should do basically everything they can right away. Number 3, we should really see more of the team, and when I say the team, and I obviously don't mean the Justice League or the Outsiders even, I mean what you can call Young Justice, although they're never referred to that as that, they're just called the team because they're covert, they don't really need a public name. But the team in this season, we had basically just one episode where it focused around them, and that episode was more focused around Miss Martian and her conflict with her brother, while Kid Flash, who is Bart Allen, which I'm so used to just calling him Impulse, but Impulse and Blue Beetle and Static and Tracy 13 and I don't remember who else was there, they were all sidelined for that. So in this first 13 episodes, we did not get them very much, and that sucks because especially Blue Beetle and Impulse, I really liked them in Season 2. They were great characters and a great focus on for that season, while this season we didn't really get much of them at all. So in the second half of Season 3, the second half of Outsiders, they should really focus around Bart Allen and Jaime Reyes just a little bit more, as well as the rest of the team. Number 2. So at the end of Season 2, Vandal Savage approached Darkseid and they seem to be working together. In this season, it was revealed that they've been working together for the last 800 years, and they are currently working together as well, and Darkseid will be the main villain of this season, while we haven't really had much with him up until this point. In this season, we've had one episode with him, and not really much of it either, and I think in the second half of Season 3, in the second half of Outsiders, we should get a lot more of Darkseid and Apocalypse. On Apocalypse, I think we should see like the daily life of the world, which in most media and even in the comics, it looks like just hell where everything's on fire all of the time, which doesn't like really feel like anybody would live there. I think that what they should do in this show is change it up a little bit, maybe make it livable, but also a pretty bad place to live, especially compared to New Genesis, which I think we should see life on New Genesis as well. But on Apocalypse, we should see the life through maybe the eyes and perspective of Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, two characters that we have yet to see in this show, but who will probably be appearing in the second half of Season 3, as they are very connected to Apocalypse and Darkseid. But the real reason I say all this is I think we should get a lot of screen time with Apocalypse and Darkseid. We haven't seen much of Darkseid in this show at all, and I think the second half of Season 3 should really develop him as a character, give us more of his motivation, his main goal, which is probably to acquire the anti-life equation, or almost definitely, and I think that should be shown in the second half of Season 3, and in the end, he should obviously for some reason attack Earth, and at that point, I think it would be awesome if all the teams, which Wonder Woman said are 6 different teams, all come together and fight Darkseid. I mean, that just sounds like an incredible ending to the season, but before that, we really do need to get some development, like character development and motivation and goals, and also the life on Apocalypse, all to make Darkseid a better villain. Number 1 is probably the thing people want to see the most in the third season of Young Justice and the second half of Young Justice Outsiders, which is Wally West coming back from the dead, where he supposedly is, or from the Speed Force, which is where he probably is. Wally West is probably the most beloved character on the show, and his death back in the end of Season 2 was definitely very sad and very emotional, but it was also left up to the interpretation that he didn't actually die. He just, like Blue Beetle Scarab said, ceased to exist, which might be them trying to say that Blue Beetle Scarab just doesn't understand the Speed Force, doesn't know about the Speed Force, so maybe Wally West was sent into the Speed Force in that moment, but he didn't die. That is definitely something they should address in this second half of the season. He should either come back in his whole storyline in this second half, or he should come back in the cliffhanger of this season. I don't honestly know which one I would prefer. Either way, if he comes back, it would definitely be a very awesome return, and since Bart Allen is Kid Flash at the moment, Wally West should and will become the Flash. In terms of how he should return, I made a video about how I think they should do it. If you want to check that out, there will be a link in the top right corner of the video. But anyways, let me know in the comments down below which one of these things you want to see the most. What is your list? Let me know in the comments, and in the poll in the top right corner of the video, you can vote about which one of these 5 things on my list you want to see the most. But anyway, as always, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.